So I think for those of you who are new to our program, for Family of the Heart, because each time I see some new faces, we actually even have a very special member who has come recently from Pakistan, and she is also a doctor, a physician, and she is a radiologist, Dr. Tanveer Zubair. So she's with us. I welcome her to our program. So I think for the new members, just to give a brief introduction of Family of the Heart, it's such a very informal organization. All the writers, artists, musicians, scholars we invite, and if there are any scholars visiting from abroad, we take that opportunity so that our local members can listen to them, talk to them. Family of the Heart usually have three kinds of functions. One is purely literary. So if somebody has a new book, one of our members publish a book so that we want to celebrate, launch their book, get 2 or 3 people to review the book so that there is a meaningful feedback. Because I feel that becoming a writer is not, you're not born like a Khalid or Iqbal from your mother's womb. It's a training, it's a workshop. So people learn by meaningful feedback. So this is, I consider Family of the Heart as a workshop where people come and discuss things, share things. We invite even the new members to, so that they grow. We see people grow with us, and we feel very proud of that. I think the second type of program is a musical thing, and some people who are artists, musicians. We have, Askari among us. He's a wonderful musician and singer. So many artists, people who are not verbal, or the writing is not their sort of mode of expression. It is sound and music. So we encourage and have some musical parties. Then we have seminars in which sort of Family of the Heart has become either famous or notorious for the topics that we choose, which are very controversial. And we invite both sides, the right and the left, the center, so that people can have discussion. So we had seminars like, can we say goodbye to God, the role of, Quran in the 21st century, women's issues, social issues, political issues. So we sort of dare to touch those areas that most people will be hesitant. And I feel very proud that we have created an atmosphere of an open dialogue, open discussion, where people sort of don't worry about the controversies, and they can speak their truth. We don't need to agree with them, but we sort of encourage them to express it, articulate it, because I think that articulation and expression and dialogue, that's how we learn from each other. Once a year we have a picnic. There is a farm on Trafalgar Road. One of our friends is Zahid Lodi. He volunteers his farm, and we usually have an annual sort of informal kind of a get-together. So that's such a brief introduction of our sort of, because of the long weekends, sometimes we don't have all the members, they're out of town, but sometimes the guests can only come on long weekends, so we have that kind of a limitation about those programs. So the 2 guests that we have, let me introduce the first one, Dr. Lubna Mirza. She is a sort of a graduate of Chandka Medical College from Larkana from 1999. She moved to America earlier than that. In 1993, she used to go back and forth, for the medical school. Then she did her residency in internal medicine in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for 2005 to 2008. Then she has a fellowship in endocrinology, specially focused diabetes and metabolism, at the University of Oklahoma from 2008 to 2010. And these days she's working in Norman Regional Hospital since 2010. She's a member of the American Diabetes Association, Endocrine Society, and American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists. She has written this book, and that's one of the reasons to invite her. This is a book in Urdu, and I think it's probably one of the very few on diabetes. You might find many things in English, but in Urdu, sort of topics like this, very sort of focused, hands-on, very practical approach that the people who struggle or who suffer from diabetes. And as most of you know, that medical, psychological, these sciences, we don't have that much sort of information or the books in Urdu. And Lubna and I both feel that I think societies grow when you have the modern scientific knowledge in that language. So we have a lot in poetry and short story and fiction, but there's not much about sort of the sciences, or the psychological sciences in Urdu. So for us, a book like this, now at the moment it's out of print, but I requested her to send me a PDF file. So later on after the seminar, if any of you want a copy, then you can email me and I can send you the copy of the book as a PDF file. So she's been very kind, not worrying about the financial remuneration. She just sort of gifted us. And I'm sort of encouraging her to rewrite the book in a way that in the last 10 years, whatever the modern sort of advances in insulin and other things, that she can add to this book, and then we can publish this 3rd edition of the book. So I think some of you, if you have gone to Hamsab, our introduction was through Hamsab magazine, internet magazine. I would send the article and they'll publish it, and when I go looking for my page, the moment I put doctor, or before I put Dr. Khalid Sohail, Dr. Lubna Mirza used to appear on the page. So the internet sort of introduced us, and then I got curious, and I found out that she's from Pakistan and she's in America, and then we started correspondence, and then she came for a visit, I went for a visit. So we become friends, and I'm sort of encouraging her to visit us maybe more often, and maybe come once a year and give a lecture about some of the medical sort of topics. And it's part of the education. I think we all need to learn, because these are the real problems. They're not sort of some theoretical, abstract thing. The real problems, people are suffering, and I think these are some of the conditions that people can learn, educate themselves, and then can sort of do something about it. Many of our family members, older people, they suffer, but they don't know anything about it. So with those sort of brief introductory words, so the program today is she will speak for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, as long as she is, and then we'll have some dialogue. So if you have any questions, so keep in mind, after her presentation we'll have a dialogue. I'll ask her a couple of questions you people can ask. Then we will invite James, and I'll introduce him more in detail, and then he will speak, because he teaches philosophy to high school students in Oklahoma. So I thought it would be good introduction that why our teenagers, young generation should learn philosophy, what benefits they have. So I think he will talk about that, and then we'll have more passionate discussion with him about that. So the first presenter is Dr. Lubna Mirza. I'd like her to come.